Hey guys, and welcome to day 20. We have 10 more days of our Bible Talk Challenge. We are in Exodus 33.
And they're on their way to go to the land of milk and honey.
Yeah, God says, continue on with the journey, continue on with what I said. I've sent the angel ahead of you, and do your job.
Yeah.
God also says, and I quote, I will not go with you because you are stiff-necked people, and I might destroy you on the way.
Israelites, they were told to take off their ornaments.
Mm-hmm. So before they set off on their journey, they hear that the Lord is like talking about them in that manner, and they're just like mourning. Oh, what have we done? We're terrible people.
Woe is them.
And ornaments is another term for jewelry. He says, take off your ornaments until I know what to do with you, basically. And so Moses pitched a tent and named it the Tent of Meeting. This is the tabernacle that we were describing in the video yesterday. When Moses was in there, a pillar of cloud would come down at the entrance of this tent, and everybody who could see it, everybody could see it, and they would come out from their tents and worship, because this meant that the Lord was speaking to Moses.
And Moses and the Lord would speak face to face, as one would say, as like a friend.
And then when Moses would return to camp after having like these discussions with the Lord, his aide Joshua that we met would not leave the tent. I'm not sure why. Made sure nobody came in, maybe. Moses later asks for God's favor, and he says, like, teach me your ways. You're telling me to lead these people. Like, I want to do it the way that you intended it to be done. So he's really after God's heart, it seems like. Moses started off really timid, and then he had this whole character development. He's just this leader who's really after God's heart. And then you see Aaron, his brother, who was supposed to lead this initially, has slowly backed down, overwhelmed by all the pressure the Israelites were giving him, that he made the calf for them to worship. Initially, God wanted him to lead the dance, and now Aaron's fallen behind. And God responds to like Moses asking for his favor and asking for him to teach him his ways. He responds saying, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Recently we were thinking, what should we be reading? The NIV version or the KJV version? And that's the New English version versus the King James version of the Bible. And it made me curious about what was being said, particularly in these next verses, because Moses asks in verse 16 of chapter 33 in Exodus, what distinguishes me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth? Wherein shall it be known that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? I mean, you could look at it the same. I feel like in the New English version, it's saying like, how do we distinguish differently from the other people? Which I guess could have a connotation of like, we're better. Guess that's just my own narrative that I'm spinning on it. The King James version sounds more of like, they've obviously have been given grace, whereas it doesn't seem anybody else is having this interaction with God.
So how should we let the people know? How should we let the world know that there's grace in your sight for us as the people you have chosen?
But God responds to that. I felt like he didn't really like give an answer of what distinguishes them. He says, at least in the New English version, I will do the very thing you asked because I am pleased with you and I know you by name. It doesn't feel like he answered like what makes them different. This asks God to show him his glory. So God says, you can't see my face, which also confused me. Which I feel like I should go back and look at when Moses speaks to God and all the times. How does it display God's presence? Because God specifically says here, you cannot see my face, no man shall see me and live. So then he tells Moses that he will allow his glory to pass fully in front of Moses on this rock. However, he will cover his eyes first, and then when he uncovers Moses' eyes, that he will be able to see his back. Again, specifies but my face shall never be seen. So I don't know. Lots of questions. My first question is that Moses asks a very direct question. God just says, I'm pleased with you, and then shows him his back when Moses asks for his glory. So it gave me the question, how were they speaking before, face to face, as one would with a friend? Especially looking at the different versions of the Bible, how it might have been saying it before. And he received God's favor.
Yeah, it's Bible time.